Wiglaf wasn't surprised. The Dragon Slayers Academy jousting team had traveled to Knight's Noble Conservatory that morning by donkey cart. The K&C team was very good at jousting. The DSA team was very bad. The K&C team had real horses. The DSA team had a real donkey. Lumpin belonged to Frypot, the DSA cook. Wiglaf had washed a mountain of dishes to get Frypot to lend them Lumpin for the tournament. Now they were in the K&C field behind the K&C castle. At either end of the field, there were tents where students put on their armor, if they had any, which most of the DSA team did not. The fans sat on benches alongside the field. "Oh," groaned Angus, struggling to his feet. "You're supposed to run at the other team's steed, Lumpin." Lumpin switched his tail. "Worry not, Angus," shouted Janice, the team captain from the sidelines. She waved a DSA pennant and snapped her chewing gum. "You'll vanquish them next time." Janice had been a jousting champ at her old school. It had been her idea to start a DSA jousting team. Now the K&C fans were cheering. "Rah, rah, rah for good old white and red! Rah, 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 we knocked you on your head!" Angus picked up his lance and limped over to Wiglaf, rubbing his backside. "Want to switch, Wiggy?" he asked. "You joust, and I'll be team manager." "No, thanks," Wiglaf said. He liked his job. He cheered his team, brought snacks, arranged transportation to the jousting meets, and kept score. The only thing Wiglaf didn't like was that his Class 1 not-so-little brother Dudwin had begged to be assistant team manager. At last Wiglaf gave in. Dudwin had travelled with Wiglaf and the team to K&C for the jousting match, where he was of no help whatsoever. "Erica, you're up after Janice," Wiglaf said. "Time to armor up." Erica hopped off the bench and stretched. "Zounds, but I have a good feeling about this." Erica was actually Princess Erica. She wanted to be a dragon slayer more than anything. She pumped a fist in the air and ran off to the tent to put on her armor. "What's the score, Wiggy?" asked Dudwin. "K&C has 582 points," Wiglaf told him, "and we have, 4 points." "We are such losers," Dudwin moaned. "I wish DSA could win just once." Wiglaf wished so too, but with Lumpin as their jousting steed, it wasn't likely.
"Next match,"
boomed the announcer.
"Janice from DSA against Launcey from K&C.
Janice ran out and climbed on Lumpin's back. Lumpin bent his head and nibbled a tuft of grass. At the far end of the field, Launcey from K&C mounted his steed. Launcey wore white armor with letters spelling out K&C. His white helmet sported a red plume. He held a long silvery lance. "Fireball charge!" cried Launcey, kicking his steed into a gallop. Down the field they ran, straight at Janice and Lumpin. Janice gripped her lance. She chewed her gum faster and faster. "Giddy up, Lumpin!" she shouted. Lumpin did not move. Wiglaf shut his eyes. Crash! "Blazing King Ken's breeches!" Angus yelled. Wiglaf opened his eyes and gasped. She stayed on. Dudwin started dancing and chanting. "Janice, Janice, she's our lass. She's got spunk and she's got sass. She's got heft and she's got mass. Janice, Janice, she's first class." Janice blew a bubble and waved from her seat on top of Lumpin. Launcey was sprawled on the ground, his white armor covered in dust. The gong rang. Bong! Bong! Halftime. Chapter 2. K&C cheerleaders dressed in red and white uniforms ran onto the jousting field shouting, "Push DSA back, back, back into the woods, 'cause they haven't got the goods, and they haven't got the zazzle, and they haven't got pizzazz, and they haven't got the stuff that K&C has."